Hello everyone, my name is the Wolf of Lego, and today we're going to be taking a look at my 3 custom minifigures from Blade Runner 2049. Now some of you may be wondering, what is Blade Runner 2049? Well, it's a fantastic movie that was released in the beginning of October, and I instantly fell in love with it. The thing was, I saw the trailers for this movie, and I heard that it was a film that came out in 1982, Blade Runner, directed by Ridley Scott, and I wanted to check it out because I heard it was really good and it had Harrison Ford, so that's always a plus. So I checked out the movie and ended up really liking it. Watching it the second time was even better, and I watched it a third time. I kind of watched it back to back. I just kept watching it, and I got more and more out of it. It is a fantastic movie with great visuals, very slow pace, very philosophical type of story about what it means to be human, what defines you to be as a human, and was a great movie, and it's a cult classic. It was not very popular when it came out because of different cuts of the movie. When the original cut came out, then there was the director's cut that came out, and then the final cut that came out. I watched the director's cut. I own the final cut now. I bought it on Blu-ray. I have not watched it. I know there's certain changes to different scenes, but overall, it's a very good movie. And going into the second one, I was blown away of how amazing this movie is. By far, it surpasses the first one in terms of just scope and scale and just overall emotion. It is fantastic. It is one of my favorite movies of the year. And the thing is, everyone who has seen it loves it, but no one watched it. It did not make much money whatsoever in comparison to the budget it had. It had a massive budget for a movie like this. And the fact that we got a movie this out there with this big of a budget, like the themes in this movie, is not for everyone. And by far, the Blade Runner franchise is not for everyone. You hear the name Blade Runner, you think of an action type of movie. But no, this is a very slow-paced, philosophical, methodical movie. It does not rush. It takes its time. The Blade Runner 2049 is 3 hours long, so you got to plan your day around to watch this. And the first one almost feels like 2, 3, 4 hours just because of how it's paced. It's just very dreamlike and kind of makes you fall asleep in certain scenes.
Track 45 right. Hand right, pull back. Stop.
But yeah, so I decided to make 3 figures from the movie. We got Rick Deckard, Officer K, and Love from the film. I was going to make Joy as well, who is K's kind of artificial girlfriend, if you have seen the film. But I made these 3, and I was really happy with how they came out. So without further ado, let's go into a full close-up 360 on all 3 of these figures. So Rick Deckard was the original main character from the first movie, from Blade Runner. And now he is more of a, well, I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but he is still part of the main story for the most part, but this is by far not his movie. This is Officer K's film. But really enjoyed how his character was played out in this movie. So this figure was pretty simple to make. Most of these figures were in terms of design. They have very simple outfits. They're not very complicated like something like Marvel or a Marvel superhero outfit. It's just simple clothing that your everyday Joe would be wearing. So we'll go over his accessory real quick. This is the Blade Runner blaster from the first film. It returns in this movie. And I made this thing out of a Brick Arms revolver. I'll list the name of it up here. It is one that I've used for Harley Quinn before. But what I did, for the most part, was I completely modified, it looks nothing like how the other one did at this point. I feel like it can be a bit shorter, and the trigger guard needs to be farther out. Granted, in the film, it actually has 2 triggers for some reason. I don't know why. But you can see the ejection port there is sculpted. A lot of this is sculpted with Procreate. You can see the handle up there is sculpted and painted in some copper kind of color. It's supposed to be translucent orange, but I can't really do that, so I made it in copper. See the little lights on the gun there. Some outlining the barrel there, has the muzzle painted in there. Then we have the cylinder on this side for the revolver with the little rod on top with the green lights, and that is all accurate to how the gun looks. If I take it out of his hand real quick, you can see I did paint the stripe on the back. You can see a bit of Procreate there, but he's holding it there, so it doesn't really matter. But you can see all the detail I crammed in there. The little bolt here is on the side. For some reason, it has like a bolt action type of thing on it. I don't really know how this gun works. You never really see them explain it. They don't really need to. But really happy with how this thing turned out. Like I said, it could be a bit shorter. I think it's a little long. But besides that, it turned out pretty cool. So, now the rest of the figure is pretty simple to explain. The head is a Han Solo head, a Harrison Ford head. I just added some wrinkles and some different lines to make him look a bit older. I got some up above on his forehead and some by the side of his lips. And then you can see I painted the eyebrows in a darker brown. The hairpiece is a Mutt Williams hair, and all I did was sculpt that little bit of a bang there, because for the most part the hair is very accurate to how it looks in the movie. All it needed was a little bit of a bang, so I sculpted that on, and it looks really seamless, and I was really happy with how that turned out, because you can barely tell it's there. So that turned out really cool. So the hair was originally painted in like a light gray, and then I gave it a dark gray wash to give it that type of look, and I really like how that turned out. First time really trying that. So his jacket here isn't really a jacket, it's more of a dress shirt, and I made that out of a Cape Mandish trench coat, cut that to size, cut the cuff a bit up above, and just cut out some little pockets and stuff and painted on the wrinkles and the buttons on that side, and then on the back you can see I did all that. The sleeves are painted in the same gray color. You can see some skin exposed down there with the cuff splits, and then down below you can see I did paint some flesh on the inside of the arm, and then on this side he has his sleeve rolled up a bit. I don't know why, but I should have got some E-tape to make that raise. That would have been a cool idea to do. I might do that in the future just to make the rolled up sleeve look a little more 3D and pop out a bit. I think that'd be a cool addition, so I'll probably do that at some point. Then the torso on the inside is just kind of what I did with the hair. I painted it in a light gray, and then I did a dark gray wash, and then I used some more dark gray to add some wrinkles and whatnot, and I painted the exposed neck up above with some black outlining. That turned out really nice and simple, does the job. The legs are painted in a dark brown that I had to mix up. I got some of the stitch lining all around the figure, just to give it a little more detail on the pants. I would like to try to do some wrinkles in the future, just to make the pants look a little more dynamic instead of just flat and kind of bland looking there. On the back of the legs, there's not much there. The shoes are a little different. I painted them in dark tan initially, and then I did a light brown wash over them, kind of make them look a little more dirtied up, and just some different color there. The sole of the shoe, as you can see, is in a brown color. It does go on the inside of the leg as well, on both sides. You can see the stitching there too. Stitching seam line. I don't know why I keep saying stitching. It's a seam, you idiot. There's also a seam going down here, and I did actually cut out the little bit of the shirt that, I don't know what you call that, you know what it is. You see it there, you can figure it out. So Rick Deckard was fun to make, very simple minifigure. He was the second one I finished. I finished K first, but I think showing him off first makes sense because this is his franchise for the most part, and seeing Harrison Ford again was really cool in another movie, especially a good movie like this. But yeah, that is Rick Deckard. Our second figure here is Officer K. So Officer K by far is my favorite character from this movie. He just has a fantastic arc from beginning to end, and really just he really carries the movie. And well, he's supposed to. He's the main character, but by far, very good story that they crafted with this character. So we'll go over his accessory real quick. So we have his LAPD standard blaster. That's what it's called, and if you've seen the movie, this is a really cool gun design, so I really wanted to get it right. I used the same pistol I used with Deckard to use as a base, and then I sanded it and sculpted onto it with Procreate and whatnot, and painted it up. And I think I got the general shape and look of it pretty down. I think I nailed it for the most part. As you can see, we got the two barrels on the front, We got the rail up above that I believe acts as a sight. But then you got all the different panels on the sides. You got the little red light on the down there above the trigger guard. I don't know if you can really see that. Let me try to get a little closer. If it would focus. Yeah, it's focused. You can see the little red light up there. And yeah, really happy with how this thing turned out. It's a little long, just like I said with Deckert's pistol, but what are you going to do about it? I wanted to try to cram as much detail as I can. So yeah, the hairpiece is just a Mutt Williams hair that I modified and sculpted onto, and really like how that turned out, especially the top of the hair. So if I remove him from the stand real quick, you can see up there. Really turned out nice, and just in general, I think it's a nice hairpiece. Lego doesn't really make a good combed hairpiece, like comb back, and so I had to try to nail it myself, and I think I did a decent job at it. Okay, so the face itself, trying to get Ryan Gosling's face was really hard to do. I didn't think it was going to be as hard as it was, but as you can tell, it was just turned out a bit more challenging than I was expecting it to be. But as you can see, I painted all the stubble on there. Tried a different stubble, more lines than actual dots, and I really like how that turned out. You can see all the bruising and blood up on the face there. He gets the shit kicked out of him in this movie, just saying. And then we got the mole up there, and a little blood above the eyebrow. I initially did some blood on the nose because he gets a bloody nose at one part in the film, but that just looked like a little much. At a point, he just looked like he had been through the shredder or something. So his jacket is made out of a Cape Madness trench coat that I cut to size and painted in dark gray. Then I painted it in green because throughout the movie, well, when I watched the movie the first time, I thought it was gray. In the movie, they say it's green. Some pictures it looks gray, some pictures it look green. So I kind of did a mix of the two. So you can see some gray popping in and out and green, and I like how it looks. So the fur is sculpted out of Procreate up there, painted in a dark tan with some dark brown and some black wash to give it some depth. And I really like how that looks. I think it turned out really nice. So, yeah. The shirt underneath, I believe, is actually a sweater in the movie. It kind of had like this boxy square pattern to it that I tried to do, but I thought it was a little too big, the squares themselves, and it looked more like, kind of like how Kylo Ren's new torso looks. Just a little too big, so I decided to just go with a black torso, and I think I should have went with just what I was doing, because it probably would have looked just fine. But this works too, so, you know, it's not going to bother me too much. Then you can see on the arms, I did actually paint the little cut he gets in the beginning of the movie on the shoulder. And he's got all the different lines and, well, seam lines going on there. And turned out really nice. And we got some dirt and stuff on the sleeves as well. So, really happy with how that turned out. The legs are painted in a dark tannish, dark tan? Yeah, dark tan. I believe it's the same color I used for my Indiana Jones figures pants. I'm not for sure. But then you can see all the different lines and stuff on there. I did do the cuffs at the bottom of his pants that are over his boots. Those are little strips of E-tape that were glued and painted on there to kind of give that 3D look, and I really like how that turned out. And they do carry on to the inside of the legs as well. See that there? And the boots are just painted in some black, and I dirty them up quite a bit because they don't stay clean at all throughout the entirety of the movie. So, yeah, that's Officer K, by far favorite character in the movie. Really like where his character goes, and it's just fun to see it unfold and everything. And overall, really liked making this minifigure. So our last minifigure here is Love. Very cool character, and the fact that she's just intimidating. She's kind of scary. Where is it? But let's go over her accessories real quick. So we have, I hit the paper there, but that doesn't matter. So we have two knives here. These are both made by me. So the first knife here, the curved one, we'll go over that one first. These are some Brick Arms combat knives that I've modified with Procreate and sanding. So this one, as you can see, is just Procreate, sculpted into more of a pointed curve. Really like how that turned out. And the other one is actually just a Brick Arms combat knife. You can kind of see the shape of this in the knife, so I just kind of sanded away at it to make it look like that. More like a switchblade. This is more like a dagger. This is a switchblade. But overall, really cool accessories. I think they turned out nice, and she uses knives a lot in the movie. So her hairpiece is actually a Mutt Williams hairpiece. Who would have thought? That I sanded away and sculpted onto. So as you can see, I sculpted a ponytail and the hair, the little band at the top, and if we bend down, you can see the rest of that, and the little bangs in front. Overall, it turned out really nice. I think certain areas could be better on the hair, such as up there. You can see it kind of cuts off and looks a little gross. The head is the head from the Jurassic World sets that I just repurposed for this figure by painting the eyebrows brown and the lips pink. I think it looks a lot like Love from the movie. I think it just nails that determination and that, you know, sinister type of look, and I think it looks really well. Works really well. It also looks really well, whatever. So the jacket is actually made of E-tape. This is my first time actually trying to make like an E-tape jacket. I'm not super happy with it, but in a way it works. I don't know if I'd do it again. I'd have to do some different things to it, such as the cuffs up here are actually the part of the tape that is sticky, but I've painted over it. That was a little hard to work with. And but I do like how it hugs the body, so I could use these curved torso so you can actually still see the curves of the minifigure, make it look a bit more feminine. You can see I painted on the zippers on the front. I don't think this zipper turned out that great because of the overlap of the E-tape. It was hard to keep the lines straight, so it might look a little messy. We got some just some light gray legs. Those weren't painted at all. Some boots painted on there. A bit simple. I didn't go too deep into them because I just wanted to get this figure done. The undershirt that's kind of like this, not metallic, more like a shiny purple. That was mixed paint, and then you can see the collar I painted on up there. That turned out nice. The arms are exactly the same with the different seams that are going on there. The back, the hood is made of E-tape, and as you can see, it does look not that bad. I don't know. I'm not super happy with it. Let me know what you think of the hood and just the E-tape jacket in general. You can see it kind of bows out a bit here, but it's alright. Like, you're not going to see the back too often, but I'm really happy with how she turned out overall, especially from the front view and the knives and just the head and everything. It just looks really nice, and I was really happy with how she turned out. So, yeah, scary lady. Glad to have her as a minifigure, because now I can scare myself. That doesn't make any sense. We're just going to run with that. I could cut it out, but I'm not going to cut it out. But, yeah, I think I did a good job. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Alright guys, so this is the end of the video where I get to talk a little bit. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you guys always for your patience. I always feel obligated to say that because it takes me so long to make videos. But yeah, this took a little longer than, you know, I would have hoped to have taken on these guys. But they're done, and I'm really happy with them, and I liked taking my time with them because I was able to really work out how I wanted to make them, and I made them really, really nice. I was really happy with these guys. I hope you guys are happy with them too. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Flickr, and Twitter. Definitely on Instagram if you want to see update photos. I was showing different pictures of these guys. That's where I post more of working in progress stuff, and the others are kind of finished products. Not products, finished items. I don't know what you would call them. But yeah, so definitely follow me on Instagram if you want to keep up to date with me a little more. I've been very busy with work. I'm working full-time now at my job, and I'm also doing school and stuff like that. So I've been a bit preoccupied, so I know I don't really update you guys that often. I'm hoping to make some more videos too, not just Lego related stuff, so expect to see some more random videos on the channel. Hopefully I can make a channel banner. That's been a black bar for eternity now. I'll work on that as soon as possible, because that's starting to bother me as well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this. Hope you guys have a nice day. God bless you people of justice. May the force be with you always. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.